Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, what a day in the market, right? I mean, rip roaring, and oh man, wait a minute. Why was it doing that? Oh, because something big's coming up tomorrow, isn't it? Well, we're gonna get into that. Stuff about the banks today, the charts. I mean, today was crazy. Some stocks up double digits, for crying out loud. You would never think there's something important going on tomorrow, or any kind of banking issues or stress in the credit markets or anything, right? I mean, it's amazing. But I did want to start off with the SEC because, I mean, for those who don't know, it's just a political organization at this point in time. I mean, they're totally bought off, and let's be real about that. I mean, the SEC scrapped plans to vote tomorrow on a rule that would have increased regulatory visibility into financial risk at some hedge funds and private equity funds. Why would they vote to scrap that? And of course, they said, oh, we're going to take a little more time with it and think about it. And it's like, yeah, we all know. I mean, put in the comments, do you really think that is going to get approved? Come on now. I mean, I think it's 3 Dems and 2 Republicans set on that commission. So let me know in the bottom if you think they're going to get the votes on that one or not. I'm going to go with no, that's not going to happen, okay? Now, speaking of what, of course, been driving the market up and down all day long, this is stuff going into the banks, right? And this is showing the bank deposits for small and large banks. And, you know, I don't have to be Nostradamus to see that right there is declining and declining dramatically, right? Now, why is it declining? Well, it's simple. They don't give us any money for our money, right? I mean, just look at the money market fund rate and then look at what they're giving us, right? Which is nothing. And a lot of people are saying, well, they got to raise that up. They're going to raise it up. That way they get able to hold on to deposits. I mean, I personally moved money out of my brick and mortar bank that, you know, I used to pay bills with and stuff, and moved it into an online account that is paying me like, what is it, like 8 times or 9 times more than what they offered that bank I was in. And let me know in the comments if you're doing the same thing. But here's the kicker, though. If they do start raising, start handing us more money on our money, right, what are they going to have to do to offset that? They're going to have to raise either some kind of prices, or, you know, sometimes they'll charge you for the account if you don't have a certain amount in there, or they're going to start raising the rates that they're using on their lending, like whether it be real estate, commercial, whatever. And so that's not going to help things, right? I mean, they're already very strict on how they lend, but if they keep raising rates, that's going to turn people away or make it even harder for them to get approved for these things, right? So that'll create a whole nother problem. Now, look at this right here. Another thing we got to watch out for in the future here is commercial real estate, because small domestic banks, look at the amount of commercial real estate exposure they have with those loans over there. That is twice as much as those large domestic banks. And so if commercial property, you know, starts to head south and loans start to go bad, that could be huge, because these are big loans. I mean, this is commercial real estate, right? So that's something else to watch for, and can definitely weigh on it. Now, the good news is when we have bank panics, you can see right here, it breaks it down into normal months and then breaks it down into months where there's been bank panics, right? So from 1 to 6 months, doesn't look that great. But once you get to 12 months, it's equal on both sides, whether it's normal or whether it was we had some kind of banking crisis, right? And then 24 months, it actually succeeds it, because we obviously started at a lower point because people flipped out and the market and everything got oversold. As you saw right now, a lot of people are driving into banks right now. Now, of course, what's going on tomorrow? This is the big one, right? FOMC meeting, right? His press conference, he'll start yapping his lips. They'll Fed president at 2:30, and so you'll see a major shift in the market one way or the other. And what's amazing, it's amazing what a few banks collapsing will do, right? Look at this right here. 86% that is going to be a 25 basis point hike, 50 not even in the cards at this point in time. And if that view right there don't do it for you, let me show you another chart. Boy, look at that. This right here is where we were at just on like March 8th, and in 2 weeks. Boy, that's a drop. That looks like a meme stock chart, does it not? And if you get anything out of this, guys, please hit that like, subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And if you're new, think about subscribing. If you like this content, I really appreciate your support. And go ahead and put down in the comments what you think he's going to do. We're going to do 0, 25, 50, which I think we all agree 50, out the door. The big thing is, and I know our friend Nikki Leaks did an interview with a gentleman, I believe it was yesterday, 2 p.m. And, you know, that gentleman was saying, hey, I think what they're going to do is 25, but they're going to have a lot more dovish tone. Well, what happens when they have a dovish tone? Anytime markets go skyrockets, right? So if they do, start putting the word pause in there, or start, I guess, if, you know, the market appears, or he even appears a little bit to be dovish, the market's going to do what? They're going to go up. right? That's what's going to happen. And so, because in order he would do that is try to quell this whole thing with the banking sector and everything. And so, and I understand too, I was looking at this and reading about this. Now they're talking about trying to insure all deposits, right? Not just 250K, like all deposits to make everything secure. Do you know what the amount is of deposits in this country? Any idea? Put it down in the comments. I'll give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. 19 trillion. 19 trillion. Where is that money coming from is what I want to know. Who's paying for that? Okay, that would be insane if they somehow pull this off. They don't even know they got and here we go again, like it's 2020. They don't know they got the authority to do that, right? I think they got to go through Congress or something. And the FDIC insures like 150 billion right now. So 19 trillion, that's insane, right? Again, though, the Fed did a lot of illegal stuff that wasn't in their mandate in 2020. So once again, when we have a crisis, people are willing just to look the other way on it, as long as it, coats their pockets or, that kind of stuff, or they get their back scratched on it. And so again, it's going to depend on who's paying off the politicians to say, yeah, go ahead and let them do it. But that's just insane. It really is if they actually pull that off. But what was funny today, you would have thought with the markets, we're going to the charts here, that tech would be leading the way today, right? But actually it was energy, financials, even probably sectors you hadn't even seen in a long time. And then there's XLK right there. I was pretty surprised just by looking at it. But then looking back over at, what was really going up, man, it was high beta. Look at this stuff right here, which holds a very low percentage of these indexes and stuff. But look at anything to do with crypto just skyrocketing double digits, right? Pinterest, Palantir, Datadog, Snow, all the Chinese stocks are up. All the EV stocks are way up, which I'll get into in just a minute. Affirm, Upstart, high beta as they come, moving like crazy. AMD, Intel didn't join the party today. NVIDIA only up 1%, which is actually huge for that one. Actually, is low for that one, excuse me. But then you see Roblox and the rest of them. Tesla, a huge day, which we're going to get into the chart. The VIX getting destroyed once again. And that leads us into the charts, right? And if you look, this trend line right here, which I got marked an alert on, obviously it's been following it up. This is on the hourly right here. Multiple bounces off this thing. You see what's happening to the RSI on the hourly. It's starting to get overbought, right? And of course, it just so magically that is leading us into the FOMC meeting, which, what happens on FOMC day? Lots of volatilities. You can just see a nice sell-off happening if, for whatever reason, the market doesn't get what it thinks it's going to get. And then, of course, Tesla, massive day, almost up 8%, right? Blew right through the February anchor VWAP, which was support, then resistance. Now can it make a support? But more importantly, this trend line right here, which, if tested it twice, failed twice. But this goes back all the way back to about a year ago, April. So, right? So this has absolutely been resistance. We're moving right up into it at the FOMC meeting. Looking to see, I was looking more important. I didn't think it was going to have that big a day today, but again, it left behind a gap now. But I was looking to see if it was going to do a support resistance flip around the 185, 187 area. But you can see RSI over 50. MACD's looking it's going to do a bullish cross. And basically what happened was Moody's upgraded them yesterday, so out of junk, which helped them. But also, sales will be coming up for China. And right now, the insurance registrations are going up at a pretty high rate. And so that's usually a good indicator of what the sales are going to look like. So people are go ahead and pumping this thing up now, getting ahead of that because they don't want to miss the boat. The other one, Meta, remember I talked about this trend line right here. This trend line is important because, again, we'll zoom out here, go to the weekly. This goes all the way back to 2013. All right. And so we've seen multiple bounces off of it, and now it was above it, got rejected. And so this is a big battleground. And the reason why it's really important, as you can see right here, is because right above that is a huge gap. Okay, because this thing's been on a roll, right? People don't think it'll go any higher, and it sure does. Right there, you see a big gap right there? Big gap. It's like Netflix, 2.0 here is what this is. Remember Netflix did this, where it had two big gaps above, filled them both. But again, I think if you ask a lot of people 3 months ago, would Meta be where it's at now? They say absolutely not. But it is, okay? And so don't discount it, because if we get on a roll, this is starting to become one of those darlings of big money. When big money gets behind something and it sees that gap above, again, you ask people about Netflix, would it fill both those gaps? Absolutely not, but it did. That's the way it is. Then they rolled Netflix money into Meta. And so that's just the way it is. It's the darling of the day because really, if you look at the valuation compared to the other big mega caps. It came down so much at one point in time. What was it, like a 13 PE or something? I mean, it was crazy what it was trading at one point in time for this big run up. But it has become one of those darlings, right? That's what it is. And so, and again, because what else are they doing? They're laying a lot of people off. As soon as the stock shows any weakness, they lay people off. That's the way it is. They're cutting those costs to help with the bottom line. They're kind of cutting down the metaverse stuff and everything. And so that's what's going on with Meta for sure. But we'll see if it holds that trend line, right? And of course, everything depends on what tomorrow. I mean, if FOMC comes under the 50 basis point hike, which nobody, I would be stunned if they, I would probably follow this chair actually. I mean, the ECB did it, but we got a whole different group over here, okay? And so I would be stunned, but you know, if he does come out, again, that's why I say watch his tone, right? He's sending a message. If he does come out, just like he did last time, remember I said watch it last time, and he was dovish. He almost looked beaten down last time, and the market just took off, right? Like a bat out of you know what. And so if he does that tomorrow, it kind of lets you know, one, they're nearing the end. Again, the market doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about people being employed. All it cares about was right in front of it and can it make some money very quickly, right? And again, and I always said there's this last hoorah type of rally. I don't know if it's going to be this one or when it's going to be, but there's every single bear market right before a recession hits. If it does hit, there's always that last hoorah where they just rallied up really high because it gives them a chance to short it way up here, not down here, okay? So that is the key, because you know, ask yourself that seriously. How many times you expected this market to fall? Like no matter what comes out, whether this bank's failing, this happens, that happens, and everybody goes, oh, this is it. And it does not happen. It just doesn't fall, right? And so that is the key. Now, if they come out and do 50 basis points tomorrow, you might see a big drop, but that's about the only way you can possibly see it. I mean, I think it's going to be boring, data-driven, 25 basis points, and if they do 0, woo, yeah, high beta stuff is gone. And I even read an article this morning about all these funds that have like $2 trillion sitting on the sidelines, and they're worried about missing the rally, right? And because they said that first 2-3 weeks is where you want to be, right? And so that, I think, is what you're seeing today. And if we get what we think we're going to get tomorrow, you can see it continue. Because remember, April seasonality-wise is good. None of this is guaranteed because the market's a hot mess. Let's just be real. That's just what it is. You know, I mean, we have one stock will be up 10% one day, it'll be down 10% the next, right? And so, you know, if you know Nostradamus or somebody who's good at predicting that stuff, let me know. But that's all a big guess right now. Let me know what you think down in the comments. It's going to happen tomorrow. All I can guarantee is going to be a lot of volatility, huge swings. And I can't wait to see, because, you know, as soon as he opens his mouth, I always record that first couple minutes for you to show you those algos kick right in, because he releases. Remember, he's going to release his speech out before he even says anything, so people will know it before it ever happens, right? And that mark goes do-do-do-do-do, or is it going to go do-do-do-do straight up, right? Let me know how you guys are playing it. Hit the like and subscribe button if you got anything out of it, and I'll see you tomorrow for will definitely be a fun day, that's for sure. All right, guys, have a good one.